here's another build that is very good for the Icy Cellar, one of the new level 85 areas. This is sort of semi-budget. Again, some of this gear might take you a few days to acquire, but when you do get it, this build absolutely fucks. Like, this build is really, really good for Icy Cellar. We have Oculus here. We do have Peasant Crown, Skin of the Viper Magi. We do have a kind of a budget amulet here, Spirit Shield, Mage Fist Gauntlets, a couple of Resistance Rings, Alder's Boots, and a string of ears. We do have a torch, but it's one of the cheaper torches. It's not a Sorc torch. Again, you should be able to get like one of these off-class torches with, you know, kind of shitty stats. This one doesn't really have shitty stats, but, you know, with not so great stats for pretty cheap, pretty early on. Again, because of the bug in the PTR with Anya resistances, we had to kind of stack our inventory with some 5-all res charms. But that's basically it. Nothing on the swap for this character. As for the Merc, we've got Tal Rasha's Helm, Naja's Light Plate, and we have Insight Hydra Bow. As per typical with a lot of these builds, honestly. Really loving the Insight Bow, the option that we have for this now in patch 2.4. This is really cool because it makes it so that your Merc is not always engaging and running up to monsters and just getting slain. She's keeping her distance and just providing that aura for you and some added support. This is one of my favorite changes of this whole patch, to be completely honest. This is what we did with the skills. We just put one into teleport, nothing into the cold skill tree here. And then we go Hydra. We max that because this is a Hydra Fireball Sorc. We max Fireball, Firebolt. Those are synergies to Hydra. We max Fire Mastery. And then the rest of our points just go right here into Warmth. Believe it or not, this is a very mana taxing build right here. We put 156 points into Strength to wear Spirit, and the rest of our points go into Vitality. And then from there, our basic strategy is just to wreck house, man. I do enchant the Merc, just, you know, because we have the skill, why not? Like, we just enchant the Merc beforehand, and then we teleport to the Icy Cellar, and this build actually wrecks, man. It's very fast. It's very fast, very efficient. And of all of the fire builds to take on Icy Cellar, this one right here just feels the best, right? We don't need to worry about, you know, kind of walking around and engaging with monsters, or, you know, we still do need to keep our distance. But the cool thing is on PC you can CT cast these Hydras, and they can engage with monsters far before you can see them. Sort of do some of your dirty work for you before you get there, which is kind of cool. But you can keep your distance quite a bit with this build. Absolutely love that. Again, very mana taxing, these Hydras are. You do run into souls down here, so eventually I think if you get to the point where you have like a T-Gods or you find one of those, that could actually be pretty valuable in this specific situation, in this specific area. But as you can see, like, just even on a budget with not really the best gear, not the worst, but not the best, this build is pretty solid, man. It's We're going to run into these situations here where we have Death Lords in this area. We can take them out, but I would highly suggest just kind of getting into a spot where, you know, you can kind of fish in a barrel them. Like, you know, you just trap them. Trap them beyond the river and just shoot at them. Otherwise, I mean, they're pretty good at taking out Mercs and taking you out too if you let them get close. Now, even though we are full Vita with this build, usually full Vita Sorcs are a lot weaker than their ES counterparts. So you do still want to keep your distance. Like, you still want to act as if you're some weakling, because you practically are. I mean, we got a semi-budget build here. Now, to be fair, this build could also work with gear that's just not quite as good. You know, that's also possible. You could use a spirit. Could use a spirit for your weapon. You could use, you know, like stealth armor for the cast. Basically, this build engages at such a distance, just like this, that you're really just relying on the power of your distance skills to get there. If they do a little bit less damage, that's completely fine, honestly. Like, you can get there with this build with not as good of gear as we have. Yeah, and as you can see, just absolutely wrecks face. We find a unique ring here. Found a Nagel ring to help us with our MF. That's just awesome.
I need a key.
And there we have it. This clears up the Icy Cellar very, very quickly. A very solid ladder reset build right here. Absolutely love it. Very, very effective.